Well, on the note of Earthworm Jim, I'm definitely a big fan of the series. I actually got it Earthworm Jim 2 on the Sega Saturn here. I don't know if you can see me on the webcam, but
Yeah, absolutely.
yep, that's what I was going to ask next. If you wouldn't mind giving us your best Earthworm Jim impersonation.
Yeah, we got Groovy or Whoa Nelly.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
it's so
no,
great.
that was a fun day. It was myself, Doug Tenaple, who was the creator of the character Earthworm Jim, Mike Dietz, who is the lead artist and animator on the project, and I believe Dave Perry was there as well. And the four of us sat in a room and just tried to make each other laugh all day long. You know, what would be a funny thing that Jim would say, and let's give him a southern accent. Why? I don't know, because it's funny. No reason for it except ow, get in there, and what would he say, and so that was just a fun one.
Absolutely. I remember one of his quotes was like, mmm, tender.
Sure, yeah, and then the thing when we'd every time he'd go up to a cow, because we had this reoccurring thing where the cow, we were like, well, it doesn't make sense. We'll launch a cow at the very beginning of the first game, and will just like randomly appear during every level at some point, just flying out in the background or whatever. And why? And I don't know, because it's funny. It's stupid.
Absolutely.
And that was the game design for Earthworm Jim. We didn't have a game design. We didn't have a 100-page game design doc like all the games now do, hundreds of pages long. The thing was, let's make each other laugh. There was no game design. We just made up the levels. Let's have them jumping on a pizza. Okay, sure. Uh, you know, let's have him be completely in the dark, and all you see is his eyes.
How funny.
We just all sorts of wacky stuff, and just a bunch of us in a room, creating it for a year, and that was the goal was to make each other laugh, and I think that comes through in the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely all part of its charm. Did you voice Earthworm Jim or?
It was actually Doug Tenaple who did most of it.
Okay.
And then, I came up with a lot of the phrases and this and that, and I had Doug do it. But then when there was parts where, Doug was super busy or whatever, I'd get on there and do some stuff into the microphone as well. So kind of mostly Doug, but a couple of Tommy snuck in there too.
Oh, that's great.
We were the characters of everything, though. I was the characters of everything else. Whether it was the grandmother. I don't know if you remember the beginning of Earthworm Jim 2, and you jump on the ground with a club.
Oh yeah, it's like rat, rat. Yeah, right. Yes.
And all everything, a lot of this stuff. Whether it was the burping or the puking of the guys, and it was all me and Doug.
Oh yeah, and then number 2, that's when they introduced snot. And we had the snot that he was swinging on.
It's not a problem. Yeah, he had the snot backpack.
Yep, that was tight.
Like they used to.
Oh no, definitely oldies but goldies. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't understand why people don't make 2D platform games anymore. Everyone's like so spoiled with 3D, and I mean it completely ruined the Sonic franchise. I love the old 2D Sonic stuff, right? And that's what was great at E3 this year see the Super Mario Brothers, where they went. It's like it looks like Super Mario World except the elements are 3D, but the game is pretty much, a 2D side scroller, which is cool.
Absolutely, you're totally right. I mean, sometimes you just gotta go back to basics. It's great to see with Xbox Live with some of their content. Like, I don't know if you've played Braid.
Oh yeah, it's all good. Yep, the Braid, and of course on the PS3 you got Little Big Planet, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good to see him still, put them out there, the side-scrolling games. But you're right.
That's what's great. That's what's great about the industry right now is that because of all these, Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation download stuff and the iPhone and all these great things, is that all these little developers now can come back and make games again, and you can have a team of 2, 3, 4 people. In a room, like kind of like you were saying, like the old days with the Atari 2600, one guy in a room. You can have a couple people now making games again, and that's what was great because the industry kind of got away from that, and it was always about the $50 million 300-person AAA title that people were working on, and those games are great as well, the Metal Gear Solids, and the Warcraft, and where hundreds and hundreds of people are working on the game to complete it. But it's also great to see all these new and fresh and completely unique ideas coming on things like the iPhone and Live Arcade.
Oh, absolutely. Especially for new age gamers, they're definitely big with like the Metal Gear Solid 4 and the dynamic gameplay. I've worked for GameStop and Game Crazy, and I've managed those stores, so I get a lot of people coming in, and especially a lot of the older generation older, and they're just like, I can't keep up with these new games. I'm used to the Pong and back and forth. Yeah, so I mean, like with Wii Virtual Console, it's great that you can recommend that kind of system and just be like, hey, get on the Wii Virtual Console, and go back and play some Super Mario Brothers.
And Earthworm Jim's on there now too.
Yeah, Earthworm Jim. So absolutely.
It's always weird seeing Sonic the Hedgehog on the Nintendo though.
I know. Who would ever thought? Like after the
early '90s, it was always like Sega versus Nintendo.
That was so big, and you had like the ads back in the day. Sega does what Nintendo don't. And
yeah, remember that one where they'd have like Sonic the Hedgehog, a guy dressed up in a suit, and he would go outside the Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
With a bullhorn and start making fun of him.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. But yeah, I mean after the Dreamcast, and Sega decided not to make any more hardware. I mean, it's kind of a catch-22. I mean, it'd be awesome to see Sega have a new system again, and there was kind of talks of it, rumors. But and at the same time, it's cool to see that Sega's still dishing out the games, and we're just like, you know what, we can go ahead and team up with Nintendo and keep producing them, and it works really good. I was playing Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympics at E3, and
yeah.
I think it's cool. I'm a big gaming geek, so to kind of see them both together, and I think it was very well received. I haven't heard a lot of negative feedback about it. How about you?
Yeah, no. I mean, I played the Mario and Sonic Olympics on the DS all the time too. It's kind of cool, and I had the fortunate pleasure to work on the last Sonic the Hedgehog game that just came out for the Wii, Sonic and the Black Knight.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, Sega Japan called me up towards the end of last year, and they say, hey, we'd love you to write some music for the new Sonic game. I was just like, wow, what an honor, So I put I only had like a couple weeks off at the end of the year last year from Video Games Live. We did 50 shows last year.
Oh, wow.
It was over Christmas. We had 2 weeks, and and then when I got back, I was like, oh, so much for 2 weeks off, and I spent those 2 weeks creating 3 songs and working with Jun Sanao, who's the Crush 40 is his other name, but the band, doing some stuff for that, and it's great. It's a great soundtrack overall. I mean, the stuff that Jun did is unbelievable. Richard Jakes, who's one of my favorite composers from over in Europe, and Howard Drawson. So all the people who wrote Sonic music over the years were involved in this project, and then myself, who had never worked on Sonic. So it was quite the honor.
Oh wow, I bet that's great.